Welcome to the Learning Curve. I'm Doug, this is my planet, and when I learn, you learn. And today I'm going to be working on a small video project using the KineMaster video editing app for Android. And I thought I would record the process as a basic overview of how KineMaster works for anyone that might find this useful. When you first launch KineMaster, this is the screen that you see, and this is your starting point here to create a new project. Any existing projects will be listed here on this screen. These are some older video projects that I'm still working on. Over here on the left, there are some frequently asked questions. You can dive into those someday if you're in the mood. There's a What's New section for the new versions of KineMaster, any new updates that come out, any new features that they've added. And then there are some basic settings that you can dive into. And we won't worry about that too much right now. Here you can see that I am a premium user of KineMaster. I've paid for a 1-year subscription, and that gives me certain benefits over the free version. And if you scroll down, there's just a couple other things here. You can follow KineMaster on YouTube or Instagram or their Facebook account. And KineMaster has some associated apps such as BeatSync, SpeedRamp, and Video Stabilizer. These are separate programs that you can use to manipulate your videos, but they aren't part of KineMaster itself. So all I'm going to be doing today is working within KineMaster. One interesting thing in settings, maybe I'll take a look at, is right here. Well, you've got my information. That would be about you and whether you have a subscription to the program, the version of KineMaster that you currently have installed. And this third line is the interesting one, device capability information. And you might want to take a look at this one because KineMaster is a fairly resource-hungry program. And I've noticed that some people run into problems where they can't do certain things that they're trying to do, and the information here might be the answer for them. Because when you install KineMaster, it does an automatic scan of your device, what processor it has, perhaps what kind of memory it has, and basically sets limits as to how complicated your video project can be. So let's take a look at it from my phone. So right here, it tells me that my phone has this chipset and has some information about it. And for editing and sharing video with my phone, I can handle 4K video on my phone. And your phone may differ. If you have a less powerful chipset, it will tell you here perhaps that you can only edit 1080p video, or something like that. So if you check this window, it will tell you whether you can handle 4K or not. And then over here, it breaks it down for you. So video projects are divided into layers. And with this particular smartphone, with this chipset, I can work in 2 layers of 4K video, or 7 layers of 1080p video, or 8 layers of 720p video, etc. So this device capability information page will tell you exactly what your phone can handle, what your phone's hardware and software is capable of using KineMaster. And as I said, KineMaster, I feel like is fairly resource hungry. So you need quite a powerful phone in order to operate KineMaster. And there are some other settings in here that we're not going to worry about right now. All right, I want to get started creating my new project, so I click on Create New. And here you can choose some settings. Of course, you have to choose the aspect ratio for your final video. 16:9 is the default, and of course that is the most common video aspect ratio these days. That's what YouTube uses, many platforms use. Though you can get, one by one for Instagram. You could even do 2.351, the extreme widescreen cinematic look there, 4:3, sort of an old school television thing. When you originally insert photographs, they can be inserted to fit, to fill, or do an automatic setting. And every photo will appear on the screen for 4.5 seconds. That's the default. That's the photo duration. And you can change this if you wish. And if you put transitions between your video clips, the default length of time for a transition is 1.5 seconds. You can adjust that if you wish. And of course, if you don't change it here, it doesn't matter. You can go back and change anything you want later on. One odd thing I've noticed about KineMaster is that when you get to this point, you see this, you see your aspect ratio, you click next, but if you scroll up, suddenly you get to see where you put the project name. This is always hidden. Every time I open up a new project, I don't see that. So I end up not giving it a name, but you actually have to scroll up and then you can enter a name. And I know that the video I'm going to be working on, I started in a town from Samniao in Thailand. How do you spell that? I believe Ngao, Samniao. And I went on a scooter trip from Samniao to Tak City. So that's what I'm going to call the video. And what I do as a habit is I number my video files with version numbers. So this is going to be number 1. And every time I exit the program or make big changes to the project, I copy the project and give it a new name. So I'll end up with many, many backups. I'll have Samniao to Tak City 1, and then if I start working on this project again tomorrow, I'll open up a brand new copy of it and call it Samniao to Tak City 2, and then I'll have Samniao to Tak City 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to the very end. And when I'm finished the whole project, I will change this to Samniao to Tak City Final. And this is an extremely good thing to do because you can easily make a mistake. You put a lot of work into these video projects, and if you make a mistake and you ruin the one you're working on, then all you have to do is go back to the previous version, and 99% of your work has been saved. So it's always a good idea to keep copying the project and giving it a new name. And I'll show how you do that in a minute. So now we've got a name for our project. We've selected 16:9 aspect ratio, and we just click next. By the way, if you don't give it a name, it's no big deal. The project will just give the project a name based on today's date. And then you can change the name to whatever you want later on. So let's click next. So here we are in the main screen for KineMaster that it shows you. It's a little bit confusing, but it's actually fairly straightforward what's going on here. These are all the folders on your phone. So everything, all the photos and videos on your phone are, of course, stored in folders, and KineMaster will automatically scan your phone and then give you a list of all of the folders containing any kind of media. So these are all the ones on my phone. And they're all mixed together. The default is to show you both photos and videos. I want to start off with videos, so you go up to this icon here. That's a little photo, and there's a video. What I'm going to do is click on that. You get a drop-down menu, select video only. So as you can see right now, photo and video is selected. This would be photos only. I want just videos. It just keeps everything neater and cleaner and easier to work with. So I'll select video, and now you see there's a much smaller number of folders. And I go looking for the folder I want, and there it is there. I give all my important folders a name that includes the date on which the videos were shot. So this folder, I called it 2021-10-8, and then Petrified GoPro 6 PD. So that's a very complicated name I use for my own information. 10, of course, is the month, October. 8 is the date. So that's the date these videos were shot. And I went to this, I tried to go to this place, the Petrified Forest. So I called the folder Petrified. All the videos were shot with the GoPro Hero 9. So that's why I have GoPro 9. I like to include the name of the camera that was used to shoot the video in this folder. That helps me stay organized. This folder down here, for example, has Pocket 2. So all the videos in this folder were filmed with the DJI Pocket 2 camera. And PD at the end, that stands for my YouTube channel, Planet Doug. So this video project is for my Planet Doug video channel. So these are the videos that I want to add. We'll just click on that, and here are all the videos that I want to add to my project. Now, you can do a few different things here. One problem for me with KineMaster and most video editing programs is they don't give you the file names here. So I don't really know what file this is. All I see is a thumbnail, and I see how long it is. So this is a 5-minute, 20-second video clip. This is a 41-second video clip. This is a 4-minute, 33-second video clip. But I don't know what these video clips are because I can't see the file name. But what you can do is click and hold. I'm using a mouse, by the way, just so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm talking about clicking and holding and using mouse-related vocabulary. But of course, on a smartphone, you're probably going to be using a stylus or your finger, and then you would just press and hold. But here, I'm just going to click and hold, and now this window pops up, and you get a lot more information. So here it tells me the file name, GX, that's a GoPro symbol, and then there's the number of the file, 672. It's an MP4 file. The length of the video, the file size, 3.7 gigabytes, and it's a 4K file. I shot it at 50 frames per second, but I guess in technical terms it actually is 49 frames per second. And here on this screen you can do a few different things. You can favorite this video, which puts it into your favorites folder. If I hit the plus sign, it will add it to my video project. Down here is the timeline. So if I hit plus, it will add this video to the timeline. And then I can also play the video right here just to confirm that this is the video that I want. I'll show you how that works. I'll hit play right now. Good morning. Welcome to another day in Thailand. It's 9:30 in the morning. So that is where I want to start. That is the very beginning of my day. As you can tell, I said good morning in the video clip. So I know that is the very first video of my project, number 672. And if I click on this arrow over here, it will take me to the next video in the folder. So if I click on that. Now this is interesting because GoPro, when files reach about 4 gigabytes in size, it has to divide them into separate files. So you'll notice that this one is 17672, and the very next one is 27672, which means that this video clip is actually part of this video clip, but GoPro had to divide it into 2 parts. That's just how it works. Luckily, when you're working in KineMaster, somehow it knows this, and when you're going through your folder, you get this one, 17672, and the next one will be 27672, so you know this one comes after that in your video project. And if it was even bigger, then if it was like 8 gigabytes in size, then you would get 37672, 47672, etc., for as long as it goes on. And then if we go on to the next one, okay, now we're back into 17673. There's 674, 675, 676, 677, 27676. So there's another one that GoPro divided into 2 parts. So these are all the video files that I want to add to my project. Let's go all the way back to the very beginning. Once the arrow disappears from the left, you know that this is the very first video clip in the folder. And this is kind of a random clip that came out of nowhere. It isn't part of this project, so we can skip that one. And here's our beginning point. And of course, you can add your video clips one at a time. But in my case, what I often like to do is add a whole bunch of them at once. And then I keep track of the numbers. So I hit the plus sign. Boom. It took this video and added it to my timeline. And then I will hit the arrow button to go to the next video, 27672. I'll add that one. 673, I'll add that one. 674, 675, 676, 27676, that one comes next. And I will basically just zoom through all of my video files and add them all to this project all at once. Why not? I'm going to use them all anyway. These are the building blocks for my final video. So I will just go through all of the video files in that folder and add all of them at one time. But I'll stop there just for the purposes of this demonstration. So once you have selected all of your video files that you want to add, and of course you can go back and add more of them later, add more to the end, more to the beginning. You can add video clips in the middle, do whatever you want. So you hit the X, takes us back, and here we are in our main editing screen, and there are 3 or 4 major sections to the KineMaster video editing screen. This, of course, is the preview window, where when you play your video, this is where you see it. This area is where you add your videos and photos either to the main timeline or to the layers on top of your main video. Audio is how you would select music and audio tracks to your project. And here you can do voiceover narration by clicking on the record button. And there is the play button. One powerful feature in KineMaster is this button here at the bottom, because as you can see, this video so far is 51 minutes long. It's a very long video. And if you go scrolling through it like this, it is going to take you a very long time to get back to the beginning. So this button here is a shortcut. Just click and hold, and then I can move to the previous point, move to the beginning, and move to the end. And I want to go all the way to the beginning of this video, so I click move to the beginning. Boom, I'm there. If I want to go back to the end, move to the end, I'm here. And trust me, that is a massive time saver. It's a very, very useful thing to have. Move to the beginning. All right, so now we want to start editing our video project. And what I do basically is I start playing and I look for the beginning point where I want the video to start. Good morning. Right there, right before I say good morning. So I want it to start right there. This is called the playhead. And the way video editing programs work, and this is how KineMaster works, in order to do something with the menus and the controls, you have to select something first. So right now, there's really there are no editing tools available to me because I haven't selected anything yet. So I want to cut the video here, but in order to do that, I have to select this video clip first. So I just click on it. It's highlighted with this yellow box. And now I have all of these editing tools on the right. There's a whole bunch of them there, many different things I can do. And for the purposes of this little demonstration, the most important tool is this one right here, the scissors, sort of a cut and trim tool. And whatever you choose here, it's going to happen right here where the playhead is. So you click on the scissors, and KineMaster also has a very powerful tool here, more advanced than in other programs that I've seen. So for example, I can trim to the left of playhead, which means that all the material to the left of this clip will be deleted. So all that will disappear. Trim to the right of playhead, meaning everything to the right of this line will be deleted and only this part will be left. Or I can cut the video into two parts right here. Split. This is basically like cutting it with a pair of scissors right there. And this is a fun one. Split and insert freeze frame. So it would basically cut the video in half, and then it would insert this image as a photograph right there. And I use that feature all the time. It's just a very handy thing to be able to do. But just to keep things simple, I'm just going to split it here, split at playhead. And now, as you can see, the video has been cut into two parts. A very small part on the left, and then a much larger part on the right. And I want to get rid of this, so I select it again. It's kind of what I said before. I want to delete this, but if you look around the screen, there's no delete button. It's like, how in the world do I delete this thing? Well, you have to select it first, and now there's the trash button. So you have to select first and then go into the editing controls and the menu. So now I can delete that with the trash can, and it's gone. And everything on the timeline moves to the left to fill up the space that was left behind. So let's see if this video is starting where I want it to start. Good morning. Welcome to another day in Thailand. It's 9:30 in the morning, and I'm just leaving from my hotel here in Sam Niao. A nice leisurely start to the day. You'd think I was on vacation or something. So right there. For whatever reason with my videos, I've gotten in the habit of having a short little intro like that, and then I play a little bit of music right there, and I add a title screen. I'm not aware of anyone else doing this. It's actually a very kind of a primitive style of video editing, and I should do something more sophisticated. I just haven't gotten around to it. So basically, what I want to do now is cut the video here and insert some music and a title. It's kind of a title screen. So if you remember, if I want to cut this, there's no cut or trim or scissors available because we haven't selected anything yet. So we select this video clip. It's highlighted with a yellow box, and now we get our scissors. And you'll notice a little red dot there. If you see this red dot beside any of the menu items, that means that this control has already been applied to that video clip in some form. And you might remember that we just cut about a second of the video clip from the beginning. Like we deleted about a second of this clip, and that red dot tells us, okay, we already deleted something. But I'm going to split it here. So once again, I've got a piece on the left and a piece on the right. And this is where I want to insert my music and a kind of title card. And what I do is I insert a black background. And this is a very powerful tool. This button here called Media, when you click on Media, this allows you to get video and photos, and whatever you choose in the Media button will end up here on the main timeline. If you choose Layer, then you also have access to photos and videos and graphics and text and everything else. But everything you select here will end up below your timeline in the layers and will be sitting on top of the main video. And that is a key concept in video editing and a key concept in KineMaster. For now, we're just going to select Media. And now this opens up all of my folders again. And I'm going to go here to Image Assets, which is a very useful tool. And what is contained in the Image Assets folder, this comes from KineMaster. It comes with the program. You get all of these backgrounds. So I'm going to insert a black background. And there it is. Whatever you select, it gets inserted wherever the playhead is. So we've done that. And then in order to, you can exit from these things by hitting this X button many times, but I find it's much faster just a click down here, and then now it closes everything. And here, so there is my black background. I'll show you what that looks like. We'll just play the video. You'd think I was on vacation or something. And now the screen goes to total black. And the video starts again. And this is where I'm going to insert my title for this video. And I know from experience, I want this black screen to be on for about 8 seconds. And there's a very easy way to do that. You just highlight it. And when one of these video clips is highlighted, you get little handles on each side. So I can just grab that handle and pull it. And then up above, do you see that white box? It tells you it is exactly 4.5 seconds long, because that's the default. We saw that at the settings at the very beginning. So if I drag it to the left, you can see it go up 5 seconds, 6, 7. I want it to be about 8 seconds long. So right there. So now this is 8 seconds long. And with any video clip or any graphic element, any photograph, anything at all, if you want to get information about it, it's pretty easy to do. You just select it, then you get this menu, and if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's an information button. Click on that, and then it tells you information about this item. There isn't a whole lot of information here because it's just a blank screen. It just tells me the color, and these symbols basically mean black. But if I select this one here, go all the way to the bottom, and I select information, now you see I get the file name, the date and time it was created, the format, the resolution, the frame rate, and the duration. But notice that the duration is not the duration of this clip. It is the duration of the original complete file. Because 5 minutes, 20 seconds long, that is the original complete file, not the length of this clip. Obviously, it's much shorter. If you want to see how long this clip is, you again have to click on that handle, and then the duration pops up there. It's about 5 seconds long. All right. So I want to insert some music here, and I want the music to start right there at this transition. And there's a very efficient way of moving your playhead there. I mean, you could do it by hand, try to carefully move it and put it there, but that's a very slow process. All you need to do is select the item, and the playhead will automatically click into place at the very beginning. So let's do that. Boom. The playhead moves right there. And that's just an efficient way of moving the playhead around. So that's where I want to insert my song. So I go up to the audio menu, click on that. And here is the audio browser, and this is all of the music on my phone. And I have all the music organized in folders. So I select folders, and I put all of my YouTube music into this folder. A trick here is that this is always in alphabetical order. And just to keep the YouTube music is the most important to me. So I want it at the very top all the time. So I gave the folder name 001 YouTube with some punctuation. And that means it is always at the top of the list. So it's always easy to find. And this is the song I want. I always open my videos with 7th Floor Tango for some reason. It's just a habit that I have. And you can click on these to listen to them. So that's the song that I want. So you can, hit the play button as well just to listen to it. This one, A Brighter Heart. A Walk into Space. This is all music that I downloaded from the YouTube audio library. It's all free music. There are no copyright concerns with any of this music that you get from YouTube. To add one of these songs, you just click on the plus button, and you will see it will show up underneath the main foundation layer. And there it is there, 7th Floor Tango by Silent Partner. And again, I want to get out of this menu, and you can do it by clicking on X and back and back and back. But I find it's much faster just to select the item, and boom, now you're right back to your main editing screen. And again, I know from experience that this song is too loud. I don't know why, but all of my music is way too loud. So the first thing I need to do is select the song. There's the song, and then I get a big menu of all the controls for this song, and I want to change the overall volume. You open up the volume menu, it's set to 100%, and I know from experience I want this to be at about 50% or lower. So let's see what we've got now. You'd think I was on vacation or something. All right, sounds good. And what I generally do is I have the music bleed over into the video that comes, that follows the title card. And it's just sort of a judgment call, how long you let the music bleed over. Rather than have it just stop abruptly, I want it to play over the video and then slowly fade out. And every video editing program has a different technique for doing that. So let's see where I want it to stop. Maybe right there. So now I want the song to end right here. So again, first step is always to select the item. So now we select the song, and now that I've selected it, I have access to the menu. And with KineMaster, you notice that with a song, they decided that volume was the most important tool. So it is the prominent one here. And our scissors, the cut and trim tool, isn't here anymore. It's actually lower in the menu. So you have to go looking for it, and there it is there. There's our scissors trim split. And I'm going to do something different this time, just to demonstrate how this works. I would normally split at the playhead and then delete part of it, but it's faster to use the trim tool. And in this case, I want to keep the left part and delete everything to the right. So we choose this one, trim to right of playhead, and note it, and watch this. This will all magically disappear. Boom, it's gone. So we're still working on this. Notice that if we play it, listen to what happens to the song at the end. It just stops, and that obviously is not very pleasant. So what I want to do is fade out the song. And again, every video editing program has a different way of doing it. In KineMaster, it's pretty straightforward once you know how to do it. So I basically want the fade to start right when the video comes back, right there. So I've placed my playhead where I want the song to start fading out. And again, select the song first. And right up here, this is the tool you use to fade out audio. I don't know exactly what this, oh yeah, I guess I know what that means. These little circles are like start and stop points for the fade. So that's a graphic representation of what this tool can do. So once you have your song selected, you just click on this and you get a new menu. They call this the volume envelope for some reason. Pretty straightforward, to be honest. As you can see right now, at this point, the audio is at 100% in terms of the overall volume of this clip. And what I want to do is from this point start fading. So I want to insert a kind of a keyframe, I guess. And you do that with this circle and a plus button. Click on that, and you get a little red dot right there. And that is sort of an anchor point for the volume. And then move your playhead all the way to the end. And once you're there, you can grab the volume and lower it all the way down to 0. And watch, this line here is the line for the audio levels. Watch it go down as I pull this down. And if I go up, now the audio is increasing, but I want it to go down to 0. So here you get a graphical representation of your audio fading slowly away from 100% down to 0% using this volume envelope tool. So let's see what that sounds like. Much nicer, right? It fades out. And you can go back anytime you want and adjust whatever you did. As always, if you want to make an adjustment, select it, and notice that our volume envelope markings are not visible. You can see here another red dot has appeared, which tells us that this item has been manipulated already with this tool and with this tool. And if we click on volume envelope, we get to see all of our markings again, and maybe we're not happy with that. So what you do is put your playhead over top of that anchor point, and then you could delete it, or you could raise the volume. See how it's going up, going back down. You can do all these different things to it. So you can go back and edit and change what you did if you're not happy with it. So that's the basic idea behind volume envelope. And if you use KineMaster, you will use this tool all the time. So it's a very, very handy tool. All right, so now I want to add some text into this black box. And I want the text to start at the very beginning at the same time as the music. So what I tend to do, again, I'll just select the black video clip, and then that will move my playhead exactly to where I want it to go, right there. So that's where I want my text. And I just happen to know that the text tool has, any text you add to a video clip has to be added as a layer. You can't add text through media. You can only add it to the layers. So we click on the layer button, and look at this amazing menu that shows up. Boom, tons of stuff. So now you get another media button. It's identical to this media button, and this will open up all the folders on your phone, all your photo and video folders, just like this one. But anything you select here will now be added down here in the layers. Anything you select here in media will be added to the main foundation layer. You can add special effects, you can add stickers, you can add text, and you can do these special graphics using the handwriting tool. For now, we're just going to be adding text, so we select the letter T, and we can type whatever we want. So now I have to think of a name for this title. I'm not sure what to call it. I hadn't thought about that yet. But on this trip, I did try to visit a petrified forest. So let's go with that. And I tried to go to a Flintstones-themed coffee shop, of all things. So just for now, just to have something to write, let's call this Petrified Forest and the Flintstones. There we are, and the Flintstones. But now if we hit OK, if we like this, let's maybe just make that, we'll make that letter T capital as well, just to keep it consistent for now. And the Flintstones. Maybe the should go with Flintstones. Is that the name of the TV show, The Flintstones? So let's do that. Let's bring this down to the next line and hit back. Yeah, Petrified Forest and the Flintstones. Okay, I like that. Hit OK. And there it is. There's the default. Now we want to do a whole bunch of things to this. And you can see that it is selected, has this white line, this white box going around it. So this whole menu has opened up the different things that you can do to this text. So the first thing I want to do is choose a different font. This is the font button, the AA. I'm going to choose Noto Serif Bold, kind of a bigger, thicker font. So the font has changed. I want it to be a different color. I'm going to make it yellow. This is the color here. It's currently set to the default of white. And these are all the colors you can choose. I'm going to choose yellow. And then I want it to be bigger, but you don't do that through the menu. To get it bigger, all you do is drag these circles in the corner. This one rotates it, puts it on an angle, and the other one makes it bigger. So you can go as big as you want. Let's make it nice and big. And notice that as you move one of these objects around, you get these red lines show up. And that helps you center anything. So as I move it from right to left, a red line pops up right there. That means I'm in the middle. And if I raise it up, boom. So right now I know it is perfectly centered. Okay, let's take a look at that. Vacation or something. Okay, as you can see, there are two problems. One problem is that the text stops right here, and I want it to continue all the way to the end. That's easy to fix. Just as with everything else, you can just select it, and then you get handles, and you can grab that handle and drag it over to the right or to the left to shorten it or lengthen it, how long it stays on the screen. And a very cool tool is that KineMaster has a feature called Snap to Grid. So as I drag this close to this point where there's a transition from the black box to the video, there's a break in the content there. And as you drag this closer, it will snap into position so that it lines up perfectly. And you can feel it as you do it. Just a tiny little, it locks into place. You let go, and now these two are perfectly lined up so that when the black box ends, this ends. But that's a little bit abrupt. Just like with the audio, you don't want it to just cut off. So I sort of want this text to fade in at the beginning and then fade out at the end. Again, that's easily done. Select the text first. And right here, you have in animation. So as the text begins, you can animate it. Right now, nothing has been selected. But if we select this, we get all kinds of options. You can fade in, pop, slide right, slide left. We can have it spin. We can scale up, scale down, wipe from side to side. All kinds of interesting effects. But what I want is the classic and simple fade. So now, watch what happens. And it will fade into the visibility. Or something. Yeah, I like that. And you can adjust how quickly that happens. So again, with, you notice how you get these red dots to show you that you've changed a setting in the menu. With these ones, you get a red line. And that tells me that I've done something to this item in terms of the animation. But once you select fade, down here, there's a line here, and you can select how long it takes to fade in. The default is 1 second, but you could also have it fade in over 2 seconds if you want. A much slower fade in. See what that looks like. Hey, you'd think I was on vacation or something. That's a very gradual fade in. Yeah, that looked fine to me. So now let's do the out animation. And I also want it to fade out. And just to get it to match, let's set it to 2 seconds as well. And let's see what that looks like now. I was on vacation or something. Petrified Forest and the Flintstones. Now we fade out. Music fades out. And there we are. So that's my little intro. And as I said, I always have a little clip at the very beginning, and that leads into this title card. And let's play it from the beginning just to see what we've done so far.
Good morning. Welcome to another day in Thailand. It's 9:30 in the morning and I'm just leaving from my hotel here in Sam Niao. A nice leisurely start to the day. You'd think I was on vacation or something.
Yeah, that's fine. But you might want to double check to see that it looks right, because we're previewing in a relatively small window, right? And KineMaster recently introduced full screen preview, which is very nice and very handy. But there's a trick to finding it. It's kind of a hidden feature right now. So the play button is here, and in order to go into full screen preview, you have to press and hold the play button, and then you release it, and it automatically goes into full screen mode and plays the video. So I'm going to do that with the mouse. I'll just click and hold.
Good morning. Welcome to another day in Thailand. It's 9:30 in the morning and I'm just leaving from my hotel here in Sam Niao. A nice leisurely start to the day. You'd think I was on vacation or something.
And there you are. So I can still manipulate items even though I'm in full screen. I clicked there and that selected the text. And you get a play button down here so I can restart the video. The play button disappears. You just kind of have to click again in order to stop, and then it comes back. And to exit full screen, they put the X up here in the top left, and that brings us back here. So those are two views. This is the main editing view for KineMaster. Then you have full screen view, and there is another one because over time you might end up with many different layers and they will go off the screen and you can't see them anymore. So they deal with that with this button over here, which shows a whole bunch of layers stacked one on top of each other. And if I click on that, we get a mini view. So here's our video preview window down in the corner, much, much smaller, but we have much more of the screen devoted to our editing. So the main foundation video is much smaller, and then we have all this room for many more layers. So you could add 5 or 6 new audio tracks, photos, video clips, all of them piled on top of each other. And if you go back to the main video editing window, you won't be able to see them because they're all off the screen. So sometimes you might have to go here, click on that, and then you can see all of your layers at once. So this is a very powerful tool. Let's go back to our main view. This is where you'll spend most of your time. And I think that is more or less as far as I'm going to go with this little initial introduction to KineMaster. Those were the basic steps to opening a new project, adding a couple of video files, cutting them, deleting parts of them, adding music, lowering or increasing the volume of the music, fading the music out, adding text, fading the text in and out. Just for fun, I'll show you one or two of the other animations before we leave this screen. So for this text, for in animation, I chose fade, but what if we chose slide right? Now it slides into view rather than fading into view.
You'd think I was on vacation or something.
Actually, I got both of them, didn't I? So it actually slid in from the right and it faded into view at the same time. So I guess that's built into slide right. I don't use these very often. And you get counterclockwise spin as well, which I don't think very many people would ever use, but you never know. See how that looks?
On vacation or something.
And you can use one animation to go in, a different one to go out. And there's one more option here for animation, like that's overall animation. So this is when the text comes into view. This is when it goes out of view, but overall means it happens all the time. So for example, you could have a blink show, and now your text will be blinking the entire time. Again, I doubt very much that it's anything anyone would really want to do. So let's get rid of blink slow. So you just go up to the top and select no overall animation. And for my in animation, I'm going to go back to fade, classic fade, nice and simple. All right. So that is what we're done for now. And as you're editing, by the way, it's important to know that all of your changes are being saved automatically as you make them. Every edit you make is instantly saved to the final file. You can undo. So if you happen to make a mistake, if I select this and I accidentally delete it, I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't want to do that. You can click undo and it comes back. So you do have undo and redo as options, but overall, everything you do is being saved instantly. So you don't actually have to save the file at any time. At this point, mid-project, you go up to this arrow, click on that, and that takes you back to the home page, and it exits this project. And here we are. And what did we call that one? We called it Sam Niao. So I'll scroll through all of my projects. And here it is here, Sam Niao to Tax City 01. And I mentioned I have a habit of constantly making copies just to make sure that I don't lose my work. And the way that works is you click on, if I just click on one of these, for example, I'll do that now, just click on it, it opens it up, and I can start editing again. But if I want to do something else, I click and hold. Now this little menu pops up. I can export this project as a special Kine file. We don't have to worry about that right now. I can rename it, give this project a new name. I can duplicate it or I can delete it. But what I want to do is make a copy of it, duplicate it, so that I have a backup. So I'm going to duplicate this project. And here we can change the parameters if we want. I want to keep everything exactly the same. So I just hit next. Takes a second or two, and then it pops up. So now we've got two copies. Both of them are 51 minutes, 31 seconds long. And this one just says copy. And I want to change that name. So now I'm going to press and hold again, rename, and I'm going to change it to number 2. So now I've got my original file. It's safe. And now I have copy number 2. And tomorrow, when I go back to work on this project, I will open up copy number 2 and begin editing again. But if I make some sort of a horrendous mistake, then I still have my original. I can fall back to that. I haven't lost all of the work that we've done. So that is it for now, and we will pick up the process in the next video on the learning curve.